Well, today SPY was teasing us all day long,
Oh, yeah.
dancing between 581 and 582.
Uh-huh.
You'd think, with all this earnings week hype,
Right.
we would seen some more fireworks,
Right.
but then it closed out pretty much right where it started.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
It is fascinating to see that kind of hesitation,
right.
especially during such a volatile period.
Yeah,
Makes you wonder what's really driving the markets right now.
that's exactly what we're going to unpack today on this deep dive into earnings week.
Okay.
You're no stranger to earnings week,
Yep.
and we both know it can feel like navigating a minefield sometimes.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
let's sift through the noise, dig into those daily discussion threads, and try to figure out what's really moving the needle.
Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely.
There's certainly a lot to uncover, especially with some of the big names reporting this week.
Speaking of the daily discussion,
Yeah.
what a wild ride today, right? Memes galore, some pretty epic meltdowns, and even a dash of market superstition thrown in for good measure.
Oh, yeah. That Robinhood app freeze conspiracy was a classic.
Right.
Always entertaining to see how traders cope with the pressure.
It seemed like everyone was just holding their breath, waiting for those big earnings reports to drop.
Yeah.
SPY, QQQ, DJT,
Uh-huh.
trending like crazy in the threads.
Sure.
But it was the pre-earnings anxiety around SoFi, PYPL, and MCD that really caught my eye.
Yeah, understandably so.
Right.
Those are some major players.
Mm-hmm.
Their performance can really send ripples throughout the whole market.
Totally.
One comment that really stood out to me
Yeah.
was this one. PYPL and SoFi has earnings tomorrow morning. Both have been bullish for at least 6 weeks.
Wow.
SoFi may also place sympathy as the cheaper, less-known stock.
Oh.
Talk about high stakes.
That perfectly captures the mood,
Yeah.
that mix of anticipation and uncertainty.
Totally.
And it's not just individual stocks either.
Uh-huh.
Remember that comment? What's the point of trading SPY
Yeah.
in days like this?
Oh, yeah.
You're giving away money to Emera. Seems like even seasoned traders are feeling a bit lost in this flat market.
Yeah. It highlights a crucial point.
Right.
Sometimes the best trade is no trade.
Yeah.
Especially when the market is giving you mixed signals like that.
Solid advice.
Yeah.
But, while some tickers were stuck in limbo,
Mm-hmm.
NVDA decided to have a little party of its own.
They've been on a tear lately.
Yeah.
And that news about XAI's massive GPU order definitely poured fuel on the fire.
Right.
100,000 H100s. That's a statement if I've ever seen one.
Elon Musk is clearly betting big on AI,
Yeah,
and he's chosen NVDA as his weapon of choice.
he has.
But of course, some folks in the threads
Right.
were quick to downplay Elon's role,
Oh,
saying it's the engineers who deserve the credit.
sure.
But let's be real. His involvement adds a certain level of drama and attention, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does.
Right.
He's a master of generating buzz.
Uh-huh.
And that translates into market movement, whether you like him or not.
No doubt about it. But speaking of drama, let's not forget about the short sellers who bet against NVDA.
Oh,
I can only imagine the pain they're going through as they watch their portfolios go up in smoke.
the perils of shorting a high-growth company in a hot sector.
Yeah.
It's a risky game, and this time the market is not playing nice.
Here's where things get really interesting, though.
Okay.
Jensen Huang,
Mm-hmm.
NVIDIA's CEO, has been offloading a sizable chunk of his personal shares.
Interesting.
That's got people talking.
Yeah.
Is he cashing out at the top, or is this just standard procedure?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And it's exactly the kind of detail we need to pay attention to
Right.
when trying to understand the bigger picture.
It's like we're trying to solve a puzzle.
It is.
Each piece of information, each market movement,
Uh-huh.
each whisper in the daily discussion, they all contribute to the overall picture.
They do.
But deciphering it all,
Right.
that's the challenge.
Yeah, that's why we're here,
Exactly.
to try to connect the dots.
I figure out what it all means.
Let's dig a little deeper. What else did you uncover from those daily discussions? What were some of the other major takeaways?
Well beyond the NVDA drama and the SPY side-eye,
Mm-hmm.
there was a palpable sense of caution in the air.
Right.
Earnings week always brings out that mix of optimism and anxiety.
Yeah.
But this time around, it felt like the anxiety was winning.
I definitely picked up on that too. It's like everyone's bracing for impact,
Yeah.
waiting to see if those earnings reports justify the sky-high valuations we're seeing.
Exactly. And remember that comment about remembering when you were good at trading?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of self-deprecating humor
Uh-huh.
speaks volumes about the current market sentiment.
It's like everyone's questioning their own abilities,
Right.
wondering if they've lost their touch in this crazy market.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not about individual skill. Maybe it's about recognizing that we're in uncharted territory.
That's a great point with AI reshaping the landscape so rapidly.
If traditional valuation metrics might not even apply anymore.
Yeah.
We're seeing companies like NVDA soar on future potential, even if their current earnings don't fully justify it.
It's a high-stakes gamble, for sure. But let's talk about those who are really feeling the heat right now.
Okay.
The NVDA short sellers.
Oh, yeah.
Oof. I can only imagine the pain they're going through.
It's a tough lesson in market dynamics.
Right.
Shorting a company like NVDA with its growth potential and its passionate following, it's like trying to swim upstream in a raging river.
It makes you wonder if they just underestimated the power of the AI narrative,
Yeah.
or if they simply miscalculated the timing.
Perhaps a bit of both. It's
Yeah.
easy to get caught up in the short-term noise
Yeah.
and lose sight of the long-term trends.
And speaking of long-term trends,
Okay.
let's circle back to Jensen Huang's stock sales. That move has definitely raised some eyebrows,
It has.
and it sparked a lot of debate in the daily discussion threads.
It's a classic case of trying to read the tea leaves. Is he simply diversifying his portfolio?
Right.
Is he anticipating a market correction? Or does he know something we don't?
It's a puzzle, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But here's a thought.
Okay.
Maybe we're giving Jensen too much credit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not about him timing the market perfectly.
Right.
Maybe it's just a smart CEO making a strategic financial move.
That's a valid perspective.
Right.
We tend to overanalyze the actions of these high-profile figures, but they're human, just like us.
Yeah.
They make decisions based on a variety of factors,
Right.
not just market predictions.
And let's not forget, insider selling doesn't always signal a downturn.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a matter of personal financial planning.
Exactly. It's all about context.
Yeah.
We can't isolate one data point and draw these sweeping conclusions.
Right.
We need to look at the bigger picture. Consider all the variables at play.
And that bigger picture includes some pretty significant players making some pretty audacious moves.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about XAI and their massive GPU order, but what about Meta?
What about them?
They're pouring billions into AI research and development,
They are.
and they're not afraid to show off their progress.
They're definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Their recent advancements in generative AI have been pretty impressive.
Right.
They're clearly positioning themselves as a leader in this space.
It makes you wonder, with all this investment in innovation happening, are we witnessing a fundamental shift in the tech landscape?
I believe we are. AI is no longer a niche technology.
Wow.
It's becoming the core infrastructure of the digital world.
Right.
And the companies that embrace it, that invest in it strategically,
Yeah.
those are the ones that will shape the future.
But here's the question that keeps nagging at me.
Okay.
While companies like XAI and Meta are grabbing all the headlines,
Yeah.
what about the other tech giants?
Like who?
Are Google and Microsoft falling behind in this AI arms race?
That's a question a lot of analysts are asking.
Yeah.
While they've made significant investments in AI, they haven't been as vocal or visible as some of their competitors.
It's almost like they're playing a more cautious game,
Yeah.
waiting to see how the landscape unfolds before going all in.
Perhaps they're biding their time, waiting for the right opportunity to make that strategic move.
Right.
Or maybe they're already further along than we realize,
Okay.
working on projects that are still under wraps.
It's all a bit of a mystery, isn't it?
It is.
But that's what makes this market so fascinating.
Yeah.
There's always something new to discover, always another layer to peel back.
Exactly. It's a constantly evolving puzzle. The pieces are always shifting.
Right.
But by paying attention to the details,
Yeah.
analyzing the trends, and by engaging in these kinds of deep dives,
Right.
we can start to make sense of it all.
Feels like we've fallen down the rabbit hole today.
It has been quite the journey.
Yeah, we went from deciphering the hieroglyphics of the daily discussion threads to dissecting Jensen Huang's every move
Yeah.
and pondering the future of the tech giants.
We covered a lot of ground.
So let's bring it all home for our listeners.
Okay.
We've talked about a lot of moving pieces today.
We have.
Earnings week jitters, NVDA's AI-fueled surge,
Right.
the cautionary tales of those short sellers,
Yeah.
and the quiet moves of the industry giants.
A lot to process.
What's the key takeaway here? What should investors be thinking about as they navigate this ever-shifting market?
I think the biggest lesson is just the importance of staying informed and adaptable.
Okay.
The market is evolving faster than ever,
Right.
driven by this technological innovation
Right.
and fueled by this constant stream of information.
So don't just chase the hype, right?
Exactly. Don't get caught up in that FOMO.
Do your own research. Question those assumptions.
Right.
And don't be afraid to go against the grain.
Yeah, because remember, the crowd isn't always right.
What about this whole AI revolution?
What about it?
It feels like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Absolutely. AI is transforming every industry, every aspect of our lives.
It's incredible.
It's creating these immense opportunities.
Yeah.
But also posing some new challenges. As investors, we need to understand the potential impact of AI,
Right.
not just on individual companies, but on the entire market landscape.
So we're not just picking stocks anymore.
Well,
We're picking the future.
in a way, yes. We're betting on the companies and the technologies that will shape the world of tomorrow.
That's both exciting and a little daunting.
It is, but that's what makes investing so compelling.
Right.
It's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the forces that are shaping our world and making informed decisions based on that understanding.
Well said. So to our listeners, as you continue to navigate this market maze,
Yes.
remember to keep learning
Keep questioning.
and keep an eye on those AI trailblazers.
The game is just getting started.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.